Welcome back to English Talk Time podcast, and I am Ray Yan.
And I am Maya.
Today's topic is something fun, simple, and honestly very powerful. What if I told you that one of the best ways to improve your English listening is not by studying harder, but by watching your favorite movie 3 times?
3 times?
Yes, not 10 times, not every day for 1 month, just 3 smart times.
That sounds interesting.
Because most English learners think listening improves only when they force themselves to hear difficult podcasts, fast conversations, or complicated videos. But the truth is, sometimes the fastest improvement comes from something familiar, enjoyable, and emotional.
Like a movie you already love.
Exactly. A movie you enjoy, a movie you remember, a movie you actually want to watch. Because when you watch something you love, your brain is more relaxed. Your attention is stronger. And your listening becomes natural.
So this is not just entertainment.
Not at all. It's actually one of the smartest listening methods for beginners. And today, we're going to talk about why watching your favorite movie 3 times can skyrocket your listening skills, and exactly how to do it the right way.
Okay, so let me tell you something. The last time I tried this method, I didn't expect anything special. Honestly, I was just tired of normal listening practice. You know, those random videos where you don't understand anything.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Exactly. So one day, I just said to myself, let me try something different. And I picked one of my favorite movies. A movie I already watched before, like years ago.
Oh nice, so you already knew the story?
Yes, and that's the interesting part. Because when I started watching it again, I didn't feel stressed. I wasn't thinking, I need to understand every word. I was just watching. Relaxing. Enjoying.
That sounds very different from normal practice.
Completely different. Usually, when I watch English content, I feel pressure. Like I have to focus so hard. I have to catch everything. And if I miss something, I get frustrated.
Yeah, that pressure kills motivation.
Exactly. But this time, I already knew what was happening in the movie. So even if I didn't understand every word, I still understood the situation.
That makes it easier, right?
So much easier. Like, there was a scene where 2 characters were arguing. And even if I didn't catch every sentence, I understood the emotion, the tone, the situation.
So your brain wasn't lost.
Yes, that's the key. My brain was not lost. It was following the story easily. And because of that, I stayed calm.
That's powerful.
And something interesting happened. Without trying, I started recognizing small words. Simple phrases. Things I heard before.
Without forcing yourself?
Yes. That's what surprised me the most. I wasn't pausing. I wasn't rewinding. I wasn't writing notes. I was just watching, and somehow, I was learning.
Wow, that's different.
Very different. And I remember one moment clearly. One character said something simple, like "come on, let's go." And I understood it instantly. Not because I translated it, but because I felt it.
That's real listening.
Yes. That's when I realized, this is not about catching every word. It's about understanding naturally.
That's a big shift.
It is. And for the first time, I didn't feel like a student watching English. I felt like a normal viewer.
That must feel good.
It felt amazing. Because there was no stress. No pressure. No frustration. Just connection.
With the language,
Exactly. And that's something I never felt before. Usually, English listening felt like work. But this time, it felt natural.
So that was just the first watch?
Yes, just the first time. And I wasn't even trying hard. But something inside my brain started changing.
In what way?
I stopped being afraid of fast English. Before that, when people spoke quickly, I would panic. But now, because I was following the movie easily, I felt more relaxed.
That's a huge difference.
It really is. And I think that's where most learners struggle. Not because English is impossible, but because they always practice in a stressful way.
Yeah, always forcing themselves.
Exactly. But this method felt different. It felt like my brain was learning quietly. Without pressure. Without fear.
That's the best kind of learning.
Yes. And honestly, after that first watch, I was actually excited to watch it again.
That never happens with normal practice.
Never. Usually we avoid listening practice. But this time, I wanted to continue.
That's how you know it's working.
Exactly. So after that first time, I didn't stop. Because something felt different. Usually after watching something in English, I feel tired. But this time, I felt curious.
Curious?
Yes. Like, what will happen if I watch it again? So the next day, I played the same movie again.
Same movie again?
Yes, exactly the same. And this is where things started to change. This time, I wasn't watching for the story anymore. Because I already knew the story. I knew the scenes. I knew what was coming next.
So your mind was more free?
Yes, exactly. My brain was not busy trying to understand what is happening. So it started focusing on something else.
The language?
Yes. The actual English. And suddenly, I started noticing things I completely missed before. Small things, but powerful things.
Like what?
Like the way people actually speak. Not textbook English. Real English. For example, I noticed how people don't always speak in full sentences. Sometimes they just say, wait. Come here. Are you serious? And that's enough.
That's true.
And I realized something. I was trying too hard before. I was always thinking. I need long sentences. I need perfect grammar.
That's what most learners think.
Yes. But in real life, people speak simply. And the second time watching, I started hearing these simple patterns. Again and again. The same expressions. The same reactions. The same tone.
That repetition helps a lot.
It really does. Because now, I wasn't hearing everything for the first time. My brain started recognizing sounds faster.
Without thinking too much?
Yes. That's the big difference. Before, when I listened to English, I tried to translate everything. Word by word. But now, I didn't have time to translate. And I didn't need to.
Why not?
Because I already understood the situation. So my brain just connected the sound with the meaning.
That's powerful.
It is. And this is something I never experienced before. It felt like my brain was switching modes.
From translating to understanding.
Exactly. And let me tell you something interesting. There was one scene where I didn't understand anything the first time. Completely nothing.
Really?
Yes. Fast speaking, emotional conversation. I was lost. But in the second watch, I started catching parts of it. Not everything, but enough.
That must feel good.
It felt amazing. Because I realized I'm improving without forcing it. And something else happened. My confidence started changing.
Already?
Yes. Not big confidence, but a small shift. I was no longer scared of fast English. Because I heard it before. I recognized it. It felt familiar.
That's the key word.
Yes, familiarity. When something feels familiar, it stops being scary. And that's what the second watch gave me. Not just better listening, but less fear. And when fear is less, your brain works better.
That's true.
And I noticed. I was not pausing the movie anymore. I was not going back again and again. I was just watching, and understanding more naturally.
That's a huge improvement.
Yes. And I think this is where most learners fail. They don't give their brain time to get familiar. They jump from one video to another.
Always new content.
Exactly. New voice. New speed. New story. New vocabulary. And their brain never settles. But here, I stayed with one movie. One voice. One story. One environment. And that made everything easier.
That's a very smart approach.
Yes, and honestly, I wish I knew this earlier. Because for the first time, listening didn't feel like a struggle. It felt like progress. So after the second time, something inside me changed. Not completely, but enough to make me think differently.
In what way?
I wasn't asking myself anymore. Can I understand this? I was thinking. I want to see how much more I understand now.
That's a big shift.
Yes, it's subtle, but powerful. So on the third day, I watched the same movie again. Same scenes. Same voices. Same story.
And what happened?
This time, I didn't feel like a learner.
Really?
Yes. I felt like a normal viewer. Like someone just watching a movie. Not someone struggling to understand English.
That's huge.
It really is. Because before, every time I listened to English, there was tension. But this time, I was relaxed. And when you're relaxed, your brain works differently.
How?
Faster. Cleaner. More natural. I started understanding sentences without thinking. I didn't stop to translate. I didn't pause to analyze. I just understood.
That's real listening.
Yes, exactly. And here's something that surprised me. I started predicting what people would say.
Predicting?
Yes. Like, a character starts a sentence, and in my mind, I already know how it will end.
That's amazing.
It felt amazing. Because that's something fluent speakers do. And I wasn't fluent, but in that moment, I felt closer to it. And I realized something very important. Listening is not about catching every word. It's about understanding patterns.
That's deep.
It is. Because the third time, I started hearing patterns everywhere. The way people ask questions. The way they respond quickly. The way they interrupt. The way they show emotion. These things are not in textbooks. But they are everywhere in movies.
That's true.
And now, I wasn't just hearing English. I was feeling English.
Feeling it?
Yes. Like when someone was angry. I could feel it instantly. Even if I didn't catch every word. When someone was joking, I understood the tone. When someone was serious, I noticed the change in voice. And that's when I realized. Listening is not just about words. It's about emotion, tone, timing, and connection.
That's a completely different level.
Exactly. And something else happened. I stopped being afraid of fast English.
Completely?
Not completely, but almost. Because I heard fast English 3 times. Same speed. Same voices. Same rhythm. So my brain got used to it. And when your brain gets used to something, it stops reacting with panic.
That's the key.
Yes. Before, fast English felt like noise. Now, it felt like something I could follow. Not perfectly, but comfortably.
That's a big win.
Huge win. And I think this is where most learners struggle. They don't give their brain enough time to adjust. They hear something once, don't understand, and move on.
Always changing content.
Yes. But here, I stayed with the same movie. And that gave my brain time to adapt. Time to recognize. Time to feel comfortable. And that's when real improvement happened.
That makes so much sense.
And honestly, after the 3rd time, I didn't feel tired. I didn't feel confused. I felt confident.
That's the best result.
Yes. Not perfect, not fluent. But confident. And that confidence made me want to keep going. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to.
That's the biggest difference.
Exactly. And that's when I realized. This method is not just about listening. It's about changing how you feel about English. From fear to familiarity. From stress to comfort. From confusion to clarity. So after the 3rd time, I thought something interesting. Okay, this feels good while watching a movie. But what happens in real life?
Yeah, that's the real test.
Exactly. Because watching is one thing. But real conversations are different. Real people don't pause. They don't repeat. They don't slow down for you.
True.
So a few days later, I got a chance to test it. I was in a small cafe. Nothing special. Just a normal place. And the person at the counter spoke to me in English.
That moment.
Yes, that moment. Normally, this is where I freeze. My mind goes blank. My heart starts racing. And I start thinking too much.
Overthinking everything.
Exactly. But this time, something felt different. I still felt nervous, but not the same way.
Less intense?
Yes, less intense. And the biggest difference was this. I didn't panic when I heard fast English.
That's huge.
Very huge. Before, when someone spoke quickly, it felt like noise. But now, because I had listened to natural English again and again in the movie, my brain didn't react with fear. It stayed calm.
That changes everything.
Completely. And because I stayed calm, I could actually understand the situation. Not every word, but enough.
That's what matters.
Yes. And then, something even more important happened. I answered.
You spoke?
Yes. Not perfectly. Not fluently. But I spoke.
What did you say?
Something very simple. Just a short answer. But I didn't freeze. I didn't stop myself. I didn't overthink. I just said it.
That's a big moment.
It really is. And after I said it, I was waiting for something bad to happen.
Like judgment?
Yes. But nothing happened. The person understood me. They responded normally. And the conversation continued.
That must feel amazing.
It felt unreal. Because for the first time, English didn't feel like a problem. It felt like a tool.
That's a powerful shift.
Yes. And I realized something very important in that moment. The movie didn't just improve my listening. It trained my brain to stay calm in real situations.
That's deeper than just language.
Exactly. Because before, the biggest problem was not vocabulary. It was panic. But now, that panic was smaller. And when panic is smaller, everything becomes easier.
Speaking, listening, everything.
Yes. And here's something else. I noticed my speaking was different.
In what way?
More natural. Not perfect, but more natural. Because I was using phrases I heard in the movie. Simple phrases. Real phrases. Not textbook sentences.
That's how real English works.
Exactly. And I didn't even memorize them. I just heard them many times, and my brain remembered.
That's the power of repetition.
Yes. And I think this is something many learners don't realize. You don't always need to study more. Sometimes, you need to experience English more.
That's a big difference.
Huge difference. Because when you experience something, it stays longer. It feels real. It becomes part of you.
Not just information.
Exactly. And after that cafe moment, I felt something new.
What?
Confidence. Not big confidence, but real confidence. The kind that comes from action. The kind that says, I can do this again.
That's powerful.
It is. And from that day, I stopped seeing English as something difficult. I started seeing it as something possible.
That's the real transformation.
Yes. Not from bad English to perfect English, but from fear to action. So after that cafe moment, I didn't want it to be just a one-time success. You know, sometimes you do something once, and then you go back to your old habits.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Exactly. And I didn't want that. So I asked myself a simple question. What if I keep doing this?
You mean, watching movies like that again?
Yes, but not just watching. Repeating the process. First time, relax. Second time, notice. Third time, feel confident. And then I tried it again, with another movie.
Same method?
Same method. And something interesting happened. The second movie felt easier than the first one.
Already?
Yes. Because my brain was already trained a little. It knew what to do. It didn't panic the same way. It didn't get overwhelmed by fast English.
That's progress.
Exactly. And this is where I started understanding something important. This is not just a trick. It's a system.
A system?
Yes. A simple system you can repeat again and again. And every time you repeat it, you get a little better. Not instantly. Not magically. But steadily.
That's how real improvement works.
Exactly. And slowly, this became part of my routine. Not a strict routine, but something I actually enjoyed doing.
That's important.
Very important. Because when you enjoy something, you don't force yourself. You just do it. And that's when consistency becomes easy.
That's where most people struggle.
Yes. Most learners try very hard, for a few days, and then stop. Because it feels heavy. It feels boring. It feels like work. But this method didn't feel like that. It felt like entertainment, but with progress.
That's a powerful combination.
It really is. And over time, I noticed something even bigger. My listening outside of movies improved.
Outside too.
Yes. When I watched YouTube videos, I understood more. When I listened to people speaking, I caught more words. When I heard fast English, I didn't feel lost immediately.
That's real improvement.
Exactly. And the best part was this. I didn't feel afraid anymore.
That fear is gone?
Not completely gone. But much smaller. Before, fear was the first reaction. Now, curiosity was the first reaction.
That's a big change.
Huge change. Before, I would hear fast English and think, I can't understand this. Now, I hear fast English and think, let me try to understand this.
That mindset is everything.
Yes. And I think that's what this method really does. It doesn't just improve your listening. It changes your mindset. From fear to curiosity. From pressure to interest.
That's powerful.
It is. And here's something I didn't expect. My speaking also started changing.
Again?
Yes. Not because I was practicing speaking directly, but because I was hearing natural English again and again. So when I spoke, my sentences felt more natural. My tone felt more real. My responses felt quicker.
That's amazing.
It surprised me too. Because I wasn't memorizing anything. I was just absorbing patterns.
That's the best way to learn.
Yes. And after a few weeks, I noticed something clearly. I was no longer someone who avoids English. I became someone who engages with English.
That's the identity shift.
Exactly. Before, I avoided conversations. Now, I looked for small chances to speak. Before, I felt stressed listening. Now, I felt interested. Before, I felt behind. Now, I felt like I was moving forward.
That's a big transformation.
It really is. And all of this started from something very simple. Watching one movie 3 times.
That's incredible.
It is. And I think that's the message here. You don't always need complicated methods. Sometimes, simple methods, done consistently, create the biggest results. So after a few weeks of doing this, something happened that I didn't expect at all.
What?
English stopped feeling like something foreign. Before, every time I heard English, it felt like I was entering a different world. A difficult world. A fast world. A stressful world. But now, it started feeling familiar.
That's a big change.
Huge change. And I noticed it in small moments first. Like when I was scrolling on my phone, and I saw an English video. I didn't skip it. I watched it. And I understood more than before.
Without trying hard?
Yes. That's the difference. Before, I had to try very hard to understand. Now, understanding started happening naturally.
That's real progress.
Exactly. And then something even more interesting happened. I stopped translating in my head.
Really?
Yes. Before, every time I heard something, I would translate it into my language, word by word. And that took time. That created delay. And that delay is what caused confusion.
That's why people freeze.
Exactly. But now, I wasn't translating anymore. I was understanding directly.
That's a huge level.
It is. And I think this is where many learners want to reach, but don't know how. They think they need more vocabulary, more grammar, more study. But what they really need is more exposure.
More real English.
Yes. And repeated exposure. Because your brain needs time to get used to the sound, to recognize patterns, to connect meaning without translation. And this method gave me exactly that.
That makes sense.
And here's something very important. My listening didn't become perfect.
Of course.
Yes. I still miss words sometimes. I still don't understand everything. But the difference is, I don't panic anymore.
That's the key.
Exactly. Before, missing one word would stop me. Now, missing a few words doesn't matter. Because I understand the overall meaning.
That's real listening.
Yes. And that's something I learned from watching movies. In movies, you don't need every word. You follow the story. You feel the emotion. You understand the situation. And that's enough.
That's a powerful lesson.
It really is. And I started using this mindset everywhere. In videos. In conversations. In daily listening. I stopped chasing perfection. And I started focusing on understanding.
That changes everything.
Completely. And then came another moment. I was talking to someone again, in English.
Another real situation?
Yes. And this time, something felt completely different. I didn't think before speaking.
Really?
Yes. The words just came. Simple words. Not perfect. But natural.
That's the goal.
Exactly. And in that moment, I realized something very important. I am not trying to speak English anymore. I am speaking English.
That's the identity shift.
Yes. And it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen because I studied harder. It happened because I listened differently.
That's powerful.
Very powerful. And I think this is the biggest lesson from this method. Listening is not just about your ears. It's about your mindset, your comfort, your exposure, and your consistency.
That's everything.
Yes. And now, when I think about English, I don't feel fear. I don't feel pressure. I feel possibility.
That's beautiful.
It is. Because now I know. If I keep doing this, I will keep improving. Step by step. Naturally. Without forcing it. You know, there was one moment that made everything clear for me.
What happened?
It wasn't a big moment. Not a test. Not a speech. Not something planned. It was just a normal day. I was sitting somewhere, and people around me were speaking English. Before, this kind of situation made me uncomfortable. I would feel outside. Disconnected. Like I didn't belong there.
Yeah, that feeling is hard.
It really is. But that day, Something felt different. I was listening to them. And I was understanding.
Naturally?
Yes, naturally. Not perfectly. But enough to follow the conversation. Enough to feel included.
That's a big moment.
It was. And then something even more surprising happened. I didn't just listen. I joined.
You joined the conversation?
Yes. And the crazy part is, I didn't prepare anything. I didn't think too much. I didn't tell myself. Say it correctly. I just spoke.
That's powerful.
It felt powerful. Because for the first time, English didn't feel like a challenge. It felt like communication.
That's the real goal.
Exactly. And in that moment, I realized something that changed everything. I was never bad at English. I was just not used to it. I didn't have enough exposure. I didn't have enough comfort with real English. And because of that, I was afraid.
That makes sense.
Yes. But now, after watching movies this way, after hearing real English again and again, my brain changed. It adapted. It became comfortable. And when comfort comes, confidence follows.
That's deep.
It is. And I think this is something many learners misunderstand. They think, I need more knowledge. But sometimes, you don't need more knowledge. You need more experience.
That's a big truth.
Huge truth. Because language is not just information. It's a skill. And skills grow with use. With repetition. With exposure. With feeling.
Not just studying.
Exactly. And now, when I look back, I understand why this method worked. It wasn't just about watching a movie 3 times. It was about giving my brain time to understand naturally. Without pressure. Without fear. Without forcing it.
That's powerful.
Yes. And here's something I want to say to anyone listening right now. If you feel stuck. If you feel like your listening is not improving. If you feel like English is too fast, too difficult, too overwhelming. Maybe you're not the problem. Maybe your method is the problem. Maybe you're using something too hard. Too stressful. Too unnatural.
That's true for many learners.
Yes. And sometimes, the solution is not more effort. It's a smarter approach. A more human approach. Something that feels natural. Something you enjoy.
Like your favorite movie.
Exactly. And that's why this method is so powerful. Because it doesn't fight your brain. It works with your brain. It uses familiarity. It uses repetition. It uses emotion. And when all these things come together, learning becomes easier.
That's amazing.
It is. And today, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. I still make mistakes. But I'm not afraid anymore.
That's the biggest win.
Yes. Because now, English is not something I avoid. It's something I use. Something I enjoy. Something I'm growing with.
That's beautiful.
It really is. And all of this started from something very simple. Watching one movie 3 times.
So maybe improving your English was never about doing more.
It was about doing it smarter.
Not harder listening.
but better listening,
Not forcing yourself to understand everything.
but allowing your brain to understand naturally.
So pick a movie you love.
Watch it once to enjoy, watch it again to notice, and watch it a third time to feel confident.
And don't underestimate simple methods.
Because simple, done consistently, can change everything.
Thank you for listening to English Talk Time podcast. I'm Ray Yan,
And I'm Maya.
and we'll see you in the next conversation.